So will any of these amount to the so-called October surprises that can sometimes impact elections just 12 days out? Let's bring in Howard Kurtz, host of MediaBuzz. Howie, great to have you here. You know, there's obviously a lot of stuff being thrown at the wall here. And the question is, do you think, given the state of this race, that any of this sticks or that it changes anyone's opinions this late in the game?
Well, first of all, I think that John Kelly is a highly respected four-star who lost a son in Afghanistan, and I don't believe that he is making things up, and nobody can really know what the private conversations may have been. However, at the same time, Trump may have just been letting off steam about the loyalty he wanted from his generals compared to what he thought about Hitler's generals. And I think that it's obviously not something that was made for public consumption. I think if these things were said, it was not an effort to say anything publicly about that. But his accusations are not going to move 10 votes, and here's why.
But Howie, let me just ask you one thing there. We just spoke to Nick Ayers, who was also, with them all the time. He says that he believes that they were never said. That's his opinion as someone who was with the two of them very frequently in this situation. So does it make sense for, CBS to lead with this story, for everyone to lead with the story without sort of talking about other people who were in the room and what they're saying? And the Gillen story as well. They're not reporting the other side of that story.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Gillen story is undercut somewhat, I think, by particularly the denial of Mark Meadows, former chief of staff, and saying that because he was the one who was supposedly asked about the funeral, don't pay the funeral costs. And he says that's not true. Right. But as far as General Kelly, he is not a hothead. He doesn't go on TV a lot. He obviously was the source for some of these previous stories. And here's the key thing in my view. Yep. In the past, we have heard all this before. We've had media and Democrats calling Trump Hitler and Mussolini and having magazine covers with a little mustache and all of that. And, also the business about fallen soldiers being called losers and suckers. So I don't see him as a grandstander. I think he was concerned and upset, Kelly says, by the way in which this is played out and the business about the enemy within, Martha. Yeah,
just super quick. I mean, I remember this moment, and it speaks to me to the tolerance that people have for the level of story that can rock a presidential election. I mean, we all remember Access Hollywood, and then remember this with George Bush, a DUI 20-something years ago. Back then, we all thought this could be a huge deal. Watch this quick shot.
It's a gift from the campaign.
Report out tonight that 24 years ago, I was apprehended in Kennebunkport, Maine for a DUI. That's an accurate story. I'm not proud of that.
Quick thought on that, Howie.
The last 2 weeks are always ugly, as you noted earlier. But look, this is a gift from the gods to Kamala Harris, who gets to talk about it. Yeah, I agree, he's a fascist. But these are not new allegations. And I think a lot of people, especially Trump supporters, especially after 2 assassination attempts that failed, are not going to be peeled off by this back and forth. It sounds like noise at this point to them.
Okay. Howie, thank you. Always great to see you.
Thanks,
Howard Kurtz.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.